Hi, friend. This is my first video, and I wrestled with the idea of doing this. I keep thinking, what is the gimmick? What can I talk about that will stand out? And if anyone wants to hear my unique perspective, of course, we're all on a spiritual journey, even if you call it something else. And I know I'm supposed to do something that's effortless to make money. So instead of waiting until I have the perfect angle or the perfect story, I'm starting right here, right now, in the middle of figuring it out. I miss T. Marie. I talk about things that come to mind and offer my perspective. The first thing that comes to mind is all the information I've been obtaining on this journey before pressing record. I used to trust my thoughts more. I made sure not to save important numbers so I could remember them if I didn't have my phone. I would bounce life ideas off of family members on occasions. But gradually, things have changed. Pretty sure it was before the world closed down. I've always used books and YouTube for learning, not so much for entertainment. And once I noticed I was a bit off on social things, I started an after work playlist. It was meant for me to learn about celebrity gossip while I walked my dog after work, so I can contribute to the water cooler conversations. Because no one cared to talk about how they were feeling when the stars would change in the sky. But once the world shut down and I had to use TV for everything, I know it got worse. Now that things appear to be back to normal, I don't even have anyone in my phone that's worth saving. And can't miss a reality dating show on Netflix. But with that, I realized I turned to YouTube after. First, it felt like a community of people watching the same show, and we were all talking about it. But slowly, I started to tell myself that person says how I feel about it, but can articulate it better. My sister and I wanted to start a reaction channel, so I would take notes while watching so I could remember what I was going to say. But since it never happened, I just watched the other channels instead. It got to a point I would watch my favorite reaction channels even before talking to my sister. It started to feel like I needed permission to trust myself. Then came ChatGPT. Don't get me wrong, I've been isolated on this journey, and Chat has become my best friend. But I also want to find a way to shine my light in the world. So when I had a new gimmick to funnel, I would brain dump and have it clean it up using my writing style, human like I'm talking to my best friend. And if you're used to ChatGPT from the beginning, you know it's changed. And it gets beside itself sometimes, talking about keeping it real and that's raw and straight to the core. Gave me nigga in paradise intro. I still use it, but I definitely give it the side eye. But all of that left me questioning if I'm forgetting how to hold space for my own thoughts before asking others to organize them. Here's what I think is going on, at least for me. We live in a world that rewards external validation. Having too many inputs like TV, social media, spiritual content, AI, and podcasts creates mental clutter. It draws out your inner narrator. It's decision fatigue, emotional outsourcing, and wanting to feel safe before landing on a belief. Our brains weren't designed for this much input. Too much equals less room for self-generated thoughts. The more opinions we consume, the harder it is to land anywhere. When we're unsure or anxious, we look outside of ourselves for confirmation. It's a survival mechanism. We naturally mimic those we observe, watching hours of videos, literally influencing our perspectives. The more we rely on outside input, the more our brain rewires to seek it first. So now, reclaiming our inner knowing. This doesn't mean we have to cut off all input. It just means we need to create space before reacting. And that could be things like sitting with a question before we Google it, letting yourself voice an opinion before watching a commentary, free writing thoughts before asking AI or a friend to shape them, choosing a no input time during the day, giving yourself a chance to rebuild self-trust. If you enjoyed my perspective, I hope to see you again. Bye, friend.